Hello, I'm Mike Skeggs, and this is going to be my final capstone presentation. Um, let's get started with a PowerPoint here briefly. So, for my capstone presentation, I made an app called Class and Food. I'll discuss it as we go through the PowerPoint. So, the reasons I chose this project were it was challenging. I've never worked with Android Studio or Java before, so it would be difficult for me to learn the new language. And the second reason is I wanted to get some sort of background in another language, because right now all I really know is C# and a little bit of C++. But other than that, not a whole lot. The third reason I wanted to do this project was I wanted to make something that the student body would use, myself included. For years I've been trying to think of a way that students could look at class times without having to physically walk over, or just having everything centralized in one convenient place, because as of right now there wasn't a way. If a student wanted to study in a room, he didn't know if there was class in there. If let's say for instance a club wanted to host an event in a room, they don't know what time class is in there, what time class isn't in there. So I wanted to make an app to aid in this. My original goal was to create an app showcasing class times. So like I said, you'd open up your phone and click a button instead of walking over to a building to check. And this would also let you see class times in advance. So alright, let's say you do walk over to a room and there's no class in there. Great, you can go study, right? Well, what if a class comes in 5 minutes? So this app would prevent that as well. I also wanted to include a GPS feature, but since the campus is so small, it didn't really seem practical, so I threw that idea out the window pretty quickly and I added something else. The outcome for my app is I have class times listed by the building and then the room. So when you open up the app, you'll see all of the academic buildings. From there, you click on a building and that'll take you to the rooms. When you click on a room, it'll take you to that room, and then you click another button and it'll load all the class times for that room for this semester. Spring and fall, the semester would change, and since I have it connected to a database, it would be as simple as adding another table and then changing maybe like 2 lines of code, and then it would reference the other code. So it would switch on the fly essentially. That's what the database is used for. I added a METS feature instead of the GPS feature, so now there is the METS menus for student dining. The cafe menus are in there, and the dining hall menus are in there. The cafe menus, I implemented a scroll view, so you could scroll down rather than clicking 3 individual buttons, and that took me a while to figure out how to do, but it wasn't terribly difficult. As I said there, the cafe menu is also in there. The tools I used were Android Studio and MySQL. Right here is a quick snippet of the database I'm using. Above you can see an SQL query I wrote, because originally you can see here when I got this Excel file from Registar, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were all in individual columns, and I wanted to combine them. So this is just a quick query to take these 4 or 5 columns rather, and first I made a new column named meeting days, and then I took these 5 columns and concatenated them into one column, and then from there I referenced that in the app, and it was significantly easier than referencing an extra 5 columns. It just made things simpler, cleaned everything up. Here's my app in action. I'm gonna show you the app working, but this is just a little snapshot of it. You can see the class times here, Commons menu, and the dining hall menu. Well, the class buildings rather are here. So the project reflection, definitely utilize the time you've been given. You have a lot of time, so you should make something good. This project really reinforces self-learning, and I'm a big fan of self-learning because I don't think you can really sit down and teach a class a programming language. If you want to learn a programming language, you have to really work with it every day until you start to understand it yourself. Failure is a step to success. There were several times in this project where I just could not get something working. It kept failing over and over until eventually I got it. And I'm never going to forget it now because it's ingrained in my memory. All of those times I failed until it started working. And use your resources. Google professors. I'm not great at asking professors for help. I like to try to make my application my own. And I feel like asking for help's copping out, but sometimes I do need help, and I shouldn't be worried or shouldn't be too prideful to ask for assistance when I really need it. What would I do differently? I would set the original goal to be more realistic and practical. Like I said, the GPS feature might have been cool for like Pitt, Maine, but we're just a branch campus, so we're real small. I could have the same effect of the GPS by just throwing an image view of the campus map in there, and it would have the same exact effect. And like I said in the previous slide, I should ask for help more often when I'm stuck. I do think that struggling is a step to learning, but there were a few times where I worked on this for days and still could not get it, and I had to resort to asking someone because nothing I was doing was working. However, as I mentioned, I do believe struggling is a step to success. My final thoughts: I'm pleased with this project. It's something I would use and something I could see the campus body using. Did I accomplish my original goal? I would say so, besides the GPS feature, but that wasn't really practical anyway, so I do have the working app with all of the class time, so I would say I accomplished my goal. And could I see the student body using the app? As I mentioned previously, yeah, I could. It's helpful. It does something everyone would use. It's all centralized in one location. It's just nice to have. And now I'm going to show you guys my actual app and my database. So here's my code running for my app, but quickly I'll show you my MySQL database. So here's a database that we got set up. There's a few other students that also have it. Mine is here, and we're going to select 1000 rows. When I got this was just an Excel file from Registar. I just imported it and I changed a few things, and that went pretty smoothly, so this wasn't bad. But you can see here there's 443 rows, so there is a lot of information here. And once I got this, I realized how big of a task it really was making this app. But this is a spring semester schedule. Here is the column I made where I combined and concatenated the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all over here, so it's easy to reference. It's in one centralized location. But yeah, the database is here, and it wasn't terribly difficult to manipulate and get it working how I'd like it. As for the app, I'll show you some code real quick, and then I'll show you the actual app working. So these are all of my activities. I'll minimize this. That's the log cat, so you can see any errors that pop up. These are all my activities. I know a few other students made Android Studio apps, and I have significantly more activities than them, only because I did a whole bunch of building rooms. So a lot of this code is the same but changed in certain spots, because each room is gonna more or less, I want each room to do the same thing but just pull different class times. So we have here, for instance, we'll go to room 101. This is Swartz room 101. Okay. Here we're importing everything, the SQL connections. The code's actually not that bad. So basically what's happening is right here we have a button, and when I click this button, I want it to look for the string, which I'm referencing by faculty ID, called Swartz 101, right? Then execute the task. Here are the strings, the columns I want to pull. So there are 4 columns that I wanted to pull. Description, meeting time start, meeting time end, and meeting days. You have a Doom background. Here's where I actually connect to the database, right here. Here are the credentials for my database. And then here's an SQL query. I want to select everything from class where faculty ID equals selected class. So that's going to take this, look for this building number, well, room number rather, and then pull all the data in. And from there, basically, we put the data into a list view. Where's the list view? Oh, right here. Here's the adapter. So we put it through my adapter. It goes into a list view, and then from the list view you can actually see the data being pulled in. Is there anything else in here that's of super importance? I guess I can show you the layout and show you how Android Studio is. It's pretty nice. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking for Mets right here. Android Studio is quite simple to work with and manipulate. There's a search bar over here. You can search for anything you want, and you can just drag and drop, or you can use text, which is what I use most of the time because it was just easier than working with the constraints. As you can see, if you hover over something, they have bubbles, and you can latch onto other things or other walls. But the point I'm trying to get across is Android Studio it's really simple to work with, and if something doesn't work, like right here, I can remove all the constraints. If I just click this wand, it'll automatically set constraints up, and I don't want that there, so I'll remove that constraint. But yeah, Android Studio is pretty nice. Now I'm going to actually show you the app in working state. I already have it loaded up on an emulator here. So when you come to the main screen, this is what you're going to see. This is just an image view right here. University of Pittsburgh, Bradford. So I'll show you the Mets feature first. This is the extra feature I added. So when you click Cafe, this is all on a scroll view. Oh, my scroll wheel went a little wild there. This is all on a scroll view though. So why is it doing that when I scroll down? We'll just grab this. There, we'll click and drag. Okay, so I imported 3 image views, and I'll show you the code for these as well. Let me find them. What happened? I'll talk while I look. I imported 3 image views, and then from there I put them in a scroll view, and that's how that's working. Where is it? That's the dining hall. It might be in here. Cafe. Yeah. So I have a linear layout here, and I set it to vertical, so it would scroll up and down rather than left to right. And we're just pulling the image views and the image view names. So drawable, cafe, 3, 2, 1, and those are all saved right here in this folder. Cafe images, Mets, and then the UPB logo. So that wasn't too bad. On the next dining hall, we have the dining hall menu. And then the best part, or the biggest section of this, was for the class time. So let's say you want to know what time classes are in Swartz 101. I click Swartz, go into room Swartz 101, and I click load classes. And this is where it pulls all the information. So right here you have the class name, starting time, end time, and then the meeting days. So this class meets Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, I want to go to Swartz Wednesday at 2 p.m. Can I go to Swartz Wednesday at 2 p.m.? Swartz 101. Well, there's a class here Wednesday and here Wednesday. This was 9 to 9:52, and this is 3 to 4:18. So yeah, I could go to Swartz Wednesday at 2 p.m. and I would not interfere with anyone's classes. All these buttons do the exact same thing. It just pulls different information for each room. So okay, some classes are listed twice, I should mention, because right here, I'll show you, for instance, what room number was that? Sorts 105. So you can see tourism is listed twice, and that's because when I got the file from Registar, they have some of these columns listed twice. They have some of the rows listed twice, rather. So you can see here tourism and tourism. It's in there 2 times, so it's pulling it 2 times. But the reason it's in there twice is because the subject is different. I'm not sure why they have it like this, but that's how I got it. I'm not sure if it counts for 2 classes, and that's why they did it. Because on campus you can double up on classes, so a stats class could also count as a computational science class, or a language class could also count as a culture class. So I'm assuming that's what that's for, but I'm not sure. That's something I'd have to talk to Registar about. But it is indeed pulling classes for each individual day. Let's say we go to sports room 106. We can change this, and let's see. Load the classes, and we're pulling data from right there. Yep, there's research methods. Business information systems is right there. So yeah, that's what my app does basically. It just pulls all the class times and tells when they are and when they meet. And this is just helpful for students and clubs alike. It gives them one centralized location where they can view everything. And that's my capstone. Thank you guys for watching.